Chapter 43 The Mohist Family Attacks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 43 The Mo Family Attacks. Come on, let's go up. Looking at the vast underground lava world in front of him, Lin Feng said with a little helplessness in his tone, and Qinglian also knew that even the Dou Ling level fire spirit snake couldn't obtain the strange fire, so she and Lin Feng were even more out of luck. He nodded with some disappointment, and then quickly got into Lin Feng's arms, holding Qinglian tightly. Lin Feng jumped hard and accurately jumped back into the passage. Then, he quickly ran towards the ground, coming to the ground. Lin Feng carefully covered the entrance of the cave. After that, Qinglian asked Qinglian to send 2 fighting master-level monsters to guard it. After doing all this, he did not go back to Stone Desert City, but headed to an oasis under the leadership of Warcraft. If you stay there for half a month, there will be no movement from the Mo family. That meant that the Mo family had not discovered the blue-scaled green snake with 3 flowered pupils. At that time, he could return to the city with peace of mind. The young master is not good. Unexpectedly, that little girl actually went to the Tagore Desert more than half a month ago. After hearing Qinglian's words, Lin Feng thought for a moment and decided to wait. Being shaken awake by Qinglian, Lin Feng sat up in confusion. A few days ago, Lin Feng and she brought out most of the horned vipers above the first level among the desert horned vipers. In an oasis in the Tagore Desert, Qinglian looked at Lin Feng sleeping on a wooden deck chair by the lake. And asked, especially some of the first-level monsters, with the help of his large amount of chi-breaking pills, have become very close to the second level. Then, with the roar of the Horned Viper King, all the nearby desert horned vipers also gathered together. He said anxiously, "Master, Xiaoyan said that starting this morning, not far from here, a large group of people suddenly came. At this time, they are constantly searching for something." At this moment, Xiaoyan, the second-order desert rock snake that Qinglian originally controlled, after Lin Feng had fed them the antidote pill, he asked Qinglian to instruct them to act according to the previous plan. "Yes, it is our honor to serve the Great Elder. I will urge them right now." However, after hearing what Qinglian said, his expression suddenly turned cold. In addition, after searching for many days without success, he was already in an extremely bad mood. If Rob dared to disobey him again, if the Mo family came to snatch Qinglian, it would not be so easy for others to know about killing the Mo family's people in the desert, but it was because they were all Warcraft that he dared to pile them up like this. With a slight smile on his face, he touched Xiaonizi's hair, and then said, "Qinglian, gather all the monsters together and give them my special detoxification pill first, otherwise I will use poison powder later. It's easy to get hurt by accident. You doubt me?" I don't dare, it's just that the environment here is too bad, and I'm worried that the Great Elder will be affected." "Okay. Is the Mo family here after all?" After Luobu left, Mo Cheng's confidant Mo Ran, who was the one who reported the news to Mo Cheng before, asked. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Qinglian raised his little hand, clenched his fist, and said firmly, "As for whether it will damage the Foundation, there is no need to consider this." He didn't mind killing Rob. And then he took the rest of the mercenary group to continue the search. "Great Elder, do we really want to help him unify Stone Desert City?" Hearing Mo Cheng's promise, Rob's eyes were instantly filled with greed and he said excitedly, "Wherever the young master is, Qinglian is not afraid." Among them, except for the 2 people behind the old man, all others were mercenaries wearing uniforms. "Of course I have to help, but I'm just helping them go to hell." After saying that, Rob hurriedly walked to the front and began to urge his mercenaries, "When the target is found, how can the mercenaries who have seen the green snake and 3 flowered pupils survive?" After a short exchange, Qinglian hurriedly ran to Lin Feng and shook the latter awake. When Mo Cheng heard Rob's words, his eyes suddenly darkened, and he looked at him coldly, seemingly speaking calmly. However, he did not treat these monsters badly. After feeding them with various elixirs in turn, they all improved significantly. It seems that they belong to a mercenary group. After all, these low-level monsters can usually reach the second level, so what's the Foundation? When Qinglian heard what Lin Feng said, he naturally would not object and spoke in agreement. As he said that, a cruel smile appeared on the corner of Mo Cheng's mouth, if he dared to feed humans like this, they would probably have been exploded by the power of the medicine and exploded to pieces. Young master, we have been living here for nearly 10 days. So, the Mo family, are they unable to discover my green snake and 3-flowered pupils? Or should we let those horned vipers return to their own tribe first? Yes, the young master is right. He murmured softly, then turned to look at the nervous Qinglian, and comforted him, it's okay. We have made so many preparations during this time, so it will be no problem. On the other side, a gray-haired old man in rich clothes led a team of dozens of people and was searching everywhere in the desert. It was seen rushing across the green land and quickly came to Qinglian's side, making an impatient hissing sound. At that time, he thought that the blue snake 3-flower pupils would be easily obtained. Then he turned around and began to comfort the impatient horned viper king. Great elder, we have been searching for 3 days, are you okay? Upon hearing this, Qinglian also hurriedly released all 3 magical beasts she controlled. These days, he has not only broken through to a 2-star fighting master, feeling the killing intent from Mo Cheng, Rob was frightened and hurriedly flattered him. He came to Stone Desert City and after many inquiries, finally confirmed the news about Qinglian. Look for me carefully. After finishing my work, I promise to let your sand mercenary group unify Stone Desert City. If you dare to play any tricks, you know the consequences, right? It is said that the industry here was destroyed by the snake people, and they came here for the reason of protecting the industry. Speaking of the elixir, Lin Feng couldn't help but touch the Neji on his hand. Mo Cheng swung his sleeves and snorted coldly. Those monsters followed the 2 of them here all the time, which made the horned viper king a little worried about the safety of their habitat. We also relied on the efforts of many warcraft to search and obtained a lot of medicinal materials. He immediately turned over and replied casually, let them go back in 5 days, and a few days ago, didn't I use elixirs to raise 2 second-level desert horned vipers to the 3rd level? Yes. They're here, and protecting the habitat should be more than enough. He didn't even tell the head of the Mo family, he just made a random excuse. A man who looked like the leader of a mercenary group walked up to the old man in gorgeous clothes and asked cautiously. This news made him extremely disappointed. My subordinate understands. Mo Ran also laughed, then slowed down and followed behind Mo Cheng. What? After traveling a certain distance, a scream suddenly came and lingered in the sky nearby. Then, like dominoes, the screams of the mercenaries came one after another. Chapter 44 Mo Cheng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The sounds came and went, making Mo Cheng feel agitated. Looking at Mo Ran aside, he thought that with his 1-star fighting master's strength, he should be able to solve most problems. Then he ordered, Mo Ran, go and see what is happening in front of you. Yes. Mo Ran quickly took the order, and then with an explosion, his figure exploded forward. The speed of the great fighter is not slow, and the distance is not very far. In less than a minute, Mo Ran came to the front. As soon as I arrived here, I saw several second-level snake-like monsters killing wantonly among the group of fighter-level mercenaries. Rob on the side was also tightly entangled by a 3rd-order snake-like monster, unable to free his hands to help the mercenaries. Why are there so many desert horned vipers? Have we arrived at their habitat? Seeing this scene, Mo Ran murmured to himself in confusion. Then, a layer of khaki armor quickly appeared on the body. This is the symbol of the great fighting master, the fighting spirit armor. After that, the body exploded out again, rushing towards the 3rd-level desert horned viper. Obviously, he wanted to get rid of this trouble before dealing with those 2nd-level monsters. However, when the 3rd-level desert horned viper saw the intruder, he roared, immediately fought back Rob, turned around and ran away, and those 2nd-level monsters are also like this, as if someone is directing them from behind. Seeing this scene, Mo Ran was suddenly confused. When did the 3rd-level monster's IQ become so high? Turning around and looking around, his eyes suddenly narrowed and he stared at the green flower symbol between the eyebrows of a desert rock snake. Some shook their heads in disbelief, rubbed their eyes vigorously, and looked again, and found that they were indeed not dazzled. He hurriedly turned towards Mo Cheng and shouted with a bit of sharpness, Great Elder, the target has been found. Bump! As Mo Ran's voice sounded, Mo Cheng was stunned for a moment. Then ecstatic, he stepped back hard with his right foot, and the figure quickly approached Mo ran in front of him. Where? The voice came, and in the blink of an eye, Mo Cheng was already at Mo Ran's side, speaking anxiously with ecstasy. What just attacked us was a snake monster. One of them, I saw a green flower mark between its eyebrows. I guess it was a snake monster controlled by the green snake with 3 flower pupils. However, it slipped away too fast and I didn't catch it. Mo Ran was like pouring beans out of a bamboo tube, hurriedly telling all the information he had just seen. Very good. It seems that the owner of the green snake with 3 flower pupils must have learned from somewhere that we were looking for her, so she commanded the snake monster she controlled to attack us. Hearing the painful cries and wailings from the injured mercenaries around him, Mo Cheng felt a little more excited. The more powerful the green snake 3 flower pupils are, the more helpful it will be to him after he is transplanted. Thinking of this, he quickly looked at Mo Ran and said, "Where did that snake run just now?" "There." Mo Ran didn't dare to neglect, and quickly pointed his finger in the direction where Xiao Yan escaped just now. Very good. Mo Cheng looked not far away, and immediately ordered to Rob, "You, lead your men to chase over there immediately." Great Elder, in the attack just now, our mercenary group lost nearly 20 members. Why don't we take a rest first? I will gather the remaining people to chase after him right away. Halfway through, Rob felt the murderous eyes and quickly changed his words. After saying that, he straightened up the remaining people, ignored their complaints, and continued to chase forward. Oddly enough, the desert rock snake was injured or something. On its home court, its speed was only slightly faster than theirs. After running away for a long time, he was unable to escape their pursuit. Soon, the remaining members of the sand mercenary group chased Xiao Yan to a valley with sand dunes on 3 sides and only one road. "Captain, that beast has disappeared." When the mercenaries saw Xiao Yan suddenly burrowing into the sand and disappearing, they turned around and shouted. It can't escape." Mo Cheng chuckled disdainfully, then turned to signal another confidant on the side. The middle-aged man nodded and walked aside, the aura of the 9-star fighter pouring out. He thrust his palm into the sand, and the mutated sand attribute fighting energy in his body began to move rapidly, and began to detect traces of Xiao Yan. Mo Cheng on the side also nodded. This Mo Shi is the most powerful master in their Mo family besides him and the head of the family. At the same time, he is also his most capable subordinate. In recent years, he has made great achievements in the rapid development of the Mo family. However, when their attention was focused on Mo Shi, many snake heads suddenly popped out of the sand on the ground. The ceramic bottles that were originally buried shallowly in the sand were also ejected, and it shattered in a heavy collision. In an instant, a large amount of black mist spread everywhere, covering Mo Cheng and his party. "Disperse immediately, the fog is poisonous." That he casually crushed a desert horned viper and exploded it, and Mo Cheng shouted coldly, "Although those mercenaries are not of high level, most of them have extremely rich combat experience. They saw this black mist, although they didn't know what it was, but they all knew that it was best not to get involved, so they all fled away." However, the surrounding area was shrouded in fog, so there was no room to hide. Although most of them had stopped breathing, they still let out painful wails as soon as their bodies came into contact with the mist. After that, the outermost clothes were first corroded by the poisonous mist, followed by the skin, flesh, and skeleton. Bump! That when Mo Cheng and several great fighting masters saw this, they all used their fighting energy to disperse the poisonous mist near them. However, these toxins did not cause any harm to any of them, but for those mercenaries at the fighter level, they would die immediately if touched. When the poisonous fog dissipated, all the original mercenaries of more than 30 people had disappeared. On the ground, there were many incomplete skeletons. Of the people present, only the 3 members of the Mo family and the lonely Rob of the Sand mercenary group were left. Hiss! Looking at the scene on the ground, several people suddenly took a deep breath. Humph! What a cruel method! With a cold snort, Mo Cheng turned his head and looked at the sand dunes. There, Lin Feng and Qinglian were already standing there. At the same time, on both sides of them, there were 4 third-level desert horned vipers, horned viper kings, and the 4th-level 2-headed fire snake. 5 third-level magical beasts, and, what kind of magical beast is this, 4th level? The people below saw that the first few third-level monsters could still remain calm, however, when they saw the two-headed fire snake that was more than 10 meters long and had a fiery red body, everyone took a breath of air. What shocked them the most was that the long neck of this monster actually had a bifurcation, and there were two heads on it. The 4 pairs of huge diamond-shaped eyes on the 2 heads were filled with violent and bloodthirsty killing intent, glaring at them. Thank you all for your votes. Due to the large number of people, I cannot list all the names, so thank you all. Chapter 45 Broken Mountain Arm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Except for Mo Cheng, the eyes of the others suddenly showed a bit of panic. However, when they remembered Mo Cheng's strength, several people breathed a heavy sigh of relief. They had all heard that even though Mo Cheng was only a 5-star fighting spirit, but before, he had killed a powerful 7-star fighting spirit. Although this strange-looking monster looked terrifying, Mo Cheng should be able to kill it with his terrifying fighting power. After all, compared to humans, the IQ of ordinary monsters is much lower, and they are easier to deal with, as long as they hold down a few third-level monsters, and wait for Mo Cheng to kill the 4th-order monster and free his hands. It won't be a matter of a few seconds. Soon, Rob also recovered from Xiao Ling's terrifying appearance. His eyes were instantly bloodshot. There are more than 80 people in their sand mercenary group. But among the 50 elites brought out this time, no one survived and all died. How long will it take to recover? Eyes filled with murderous intent slowly swept across the 2 people and 5 beasts above. He was the first to get rid of those monsters. After all, with their IQs, they certainly wouldn't be able to come up with these schemes. As for Qinglian, she is too young and it is unlikely. Then, only that boy is left. Thinking of this, Rob raised his blood-red eyes, stared at the smiling Lin Feng, and said angrily, "Little bastard, you must die today." Mo Cheng ignored the furious Rob, but scanned the 2 people above the sand dune. Finally, it suddenly stopped on Qinglian. Suddenly, his triangular eyes revealed unabashed greed. He glanced at the monsters, but didn't take them to heart. He firmly believed that with his own strength and the forelimbs of the 5th-level flaming mountain-breaking rhinoceros, the mountain-breaking arm can easily kill the 2-headed fire snake. Looking at the top of the sand dune, he suddenly showed an expression of being in control and said with a smile, "It is indeed a green snake with 3 flower eyes. It is really scary. Fortunately, I discovered it early. Otherwise, I would never have dared to come." "Huh, old man, you want to take Qinglian's idea? It's better to wait for the next life." Lin Feng looked at Mo Cheng's greedy eyes below, laughed, and said mockingly. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Mo Cheng's eyes instantly turned sinister. For many years, except for the Yunlan sect, no one dared to speak to him in such a tone. However, he immediately smiled and said coldly, "Boy, you are the young man who took in the green snake with 3-flower pupil according to the information. Don't worry, as a token of my gratitude, I will leave the whole body for you." After saying that, he shot out his body and took the lead towards the sand dune where Lin Feng and his party were, and Rob, who couldn't wait any longer, quickly rushed towards Lin Feng. Facing a powerful fighting spirit, Lin Feng did not dare to relax and hurriedly spread his wings. Holding Qinglian in his arms, he rushed into the sky with a whoosh sound. "Do Wang." Mo Cheng and others stopped and froze on the spot. Lin Feng looked up at the sky and shouted in fear. "No, he is not a fighting king, that is a flying fighting skill." Mo Cheng was stunned for a moment and soon thought of the extremely rare flying fighting skill. He turned around and looked at the people behind him, and said loudly, "Don't be afraid of him, he is not a fighting king." Several people looked at each other. They had never heard of any flying fighting skills on the Dou Qi Continent, but then I thought that Lin Feng was only 16 or 17 years old, even if he started practicing from his mother's womb. Then you can't cultivate to the king of fighting so quickly. Seeing that several people had recovered, he reassured them, the flying fighting skills must also consume a lot of fighting spirit. As long as we kill those monsters and wait until they have enough fighting spirit to land, we can easily catch them both. Hearing Mo Cheng's words, the other 3 people also felt that it made sense. They all nodded in agreement. Seeing several people nodding, Mo Cheng breathed a sigh of relief, and looked at Lin Feng with even more murderous intent. After all, to be able to show such level of fighting skills, Lin Feng must have had an adventure, or he was a disciple of a powerful force, but no matter what identity Lin Feng is, he must be killed here today, otherwise, the consequences will be disastrous. After Lin Feng reached the air, he hurriedly asked Qinglian to order the monsters below to start attacking. After all, staying in the air consumes a lot of fighting energy. Following Qinglian's command, Xiaoling's two ferocious heads instantly lowered their heads and looked down. The 4 pairs of huge diamond-shaped eyes were filled with violent and bloodthirsty killing intent. Boom! The huge snake's tail slammed onto the sand dune, and the huge figure burst out, rushing straight towards Mo Qing below, and the Horned Viper King was also Mo Shi, who was rushing towards the peak of that great fighting master. 2 of the other 4 third-level Desert Horned Vipers besieged Rob, the remaining 2 directly suppressed the 1-star great fighter Mo Ran. Looking at it like this, if no one comes to help, I'm afraid it won't be long before he's torn into pieces. From high in the sky, I saw the melee unfolding below, and felt the roaring and exploding wind in the air. Lin Feng put his head next to Qinglian's ear and shouted, "Qinglian, don't let Xiaoling fight with that Mo Qing in close combat, let him take advantage of the monster's physique to grind him to death." "Okay, master." Qinglian nodded and hurriedly used the special communication of the 3 flowered pupils of the green snake to send the message to the little spirit below. Boom! Mo Qing dodged one of Xiaoling's lava attacks, and his face began to show anxiety. Damn it, what's going on with this monster? Why has it refused to come close to me? How can I use the mountain-breaking arm? Cursing secretly, Mo Qing could only continue to fight a war of attrition with Xiaoling. What? At this moment, a deafening scream resounded throughout the nearby world. Immediately, the voice and its owner disappeared without a trace. After hearing the screams, the 3 people on the side suddenly panicked, because when they heard the sound, they already knew that the owner of the scream was none other than Mo Ran. Several people turned their heads hurriedly and saw that Mo Ran had disappeared. However, a third-order Desert Horned Viper next to Mo Ran was chewing something at this time. "Maid, you beast, you have the guts to fight in close combat." Looking at Xiaoling, who always kept a certain distance from him, Mo Qing roared angrily. However, upon hearing the provocation, Xiaoling's eyes flashed with bloodlust. Then, as if he heard some order, he quickly returned to his senses. "You little bastard, you must be causing trouble." Seeing this situation, Mo Qing didn't understand what was going on. He suddenly raised his head and faced the sky and said angrily. However, Lin Feng ignored him. He took a second-grade Qi restoration pill and continued to watch the battle below. What? Soon, Luobu was just like Mo Ran before. He let out a scream and immediately disappeared from this world completely. Mo Qing turned around and looked around. It turned out that the 2 third-level monsters that had besieged Mo Ran before had also joined the ranks to besiege Luobu. Together with the original 2, under the siege of 4 third-level monsters, they quickly followed in Mo Ran's footsteps. Chapter 46, Killing Mo Qing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The deaths of 2 great fighting masters in succession made Mo Qing feel a huge sense of crisis. Looking at Lin Feng in the sky, Missouri Cheng was so angry that he was shaking all over. If it weren't for Lin Feng's flying fighting skills, he would only have to repel this 4th-level monster. He could quickly catch Qinglian, so how could he end up in the current situation? Now, Mo Qing wanted to peel off Lin Feng's skin, drink his blood, and eat his flesh. Forget it, I can't care so much anymore. Mo Cheng's left arm shook violently, and a fierce force shattered his sleeve. On the arms exposed to the air, the veins were like little snakes, constantly beating. That palm also suddenly and strangely became much wider. The originally normal nails also swelled by half an inch and became extremely dark in color. At this moment, a long brown afterimage suddenly came to Mo Cheng's side. However, Mo Qing didn't get any benefits either, and its tail also had a crack, exposing the dense white meat inside. Turning his head again, Mo Qing discovered that his most powerful confidant was Mo Shi, the 9 stars great fighter. It was also the first time for Qinglian to see such a scene. After hearing Lin Feng's words, he was shocked and said hurriedly, the reason why he was able to kill those strong men whose level was higher than his was because of extremely powerful killing moves like mountain-breaking arm. The huge body suddenly turned into a giant afterimage. At this time, Mo Cheng's arm had completely separated from its normal human form. Dou Ling has such a momentum. I really don't know what it will be like when the stronger ones fight. Whoosh! There will never be more than 10 forces with this level of movement. Suddenly, the scene below made Lin Feng frown. Now, I'm afraid even escaping is difficult to do. The fighting spirit passed through the broken mountain arm and was immediately amplified to a terrifying level. Looking at Mo Qing getting closer and closer, Xiaoling couldn't care less about continuing to gather energy. When the two are superimposed, the power is greatly increased. Master, there is a message from the Horned Viper King below, saying that Mo Qing is dead. Moreover, from the looks of it, it is estimated that the spine was broken by Xiaoling's huge force. In an instant, Mo Qing, who was immersed in fear, was thrown into the distance like a garbage bag. At the same time, the speed of the body's retreat suddenly increased again. The energy condensed in Mo Qing's hand must be a fatal threat, especially those who have reached Xian level, even in the entire Jiaoma Empire. Soon, the little spirit burst out from the thick dust. Boom! The huge body also hurriedly retreated. Fighting energy quickly surged into his legs, making them lighten, and then he shouted loudly. If he had the chance to do it all over again, he would definitely not be so conceited and come with just such a few people. Thinking of the possible consequences, his eyes were instantly filled with fear. Lin Feng guessed that the little spirit might have bitten it out with its sharp teeth. Within the arm, a light red color gradually emerged. Moreover, the wound was still bleeding. Then, Mo Qing, the great elder of the Mo family and the top master of the Mo family, came. After a while, the whole arm turned red. At a glance, it looks like an arm of flames. Beast, go to hell! The beam of light suddenly collided with Mo Qing's mountain-opening arm. This produced a flow of fighting energy that suddenly shot out to the surroundings. However, he lost a calf and suffered such a serious injury. He raised his head with great effort, discerned the direction, and looked at the place where he had just been with a slight trembling. It flew to the side for a distance and just escaped the ferocious remaining energy. There, the Horned Viper King was also staring at him with a pair of vertical pupils, looking at him fiercely. You know, the number of physical fighting skills is small. Lin Feng, who was above him, also hurriedly protected Qinglian in his arms. His chest was rising and falling violently, and there was a wound penetrating his body on his abdomen. In an instant, Mo Qing's speed increased rapidly, and his body quickly approached the panicked little spirit. Before he finished speaking, a slender brown snake tail swung out again. You little girl. Mo Qing looked at the fire spirit snake in front of him, and at this moment, his heart was filled with endless regret. At the same time, violent fire attribute fighting energy suddenly condensed towards the two beast heads. It was bending in a weird arc. It looked like it was caused by a fracture. Xian level low-level movement technique, swimming step. The strong man he had killed before had the same expression after seeing him using the Xuanji movement technique. Qinglian believes that the young master can become that kind of strong man. Before he knew it, he had become the food of the Horned Vipers, and the 4 third-order Horned Vipers were constantly robbing him of his flesh and blood. At this time, Xiaoling's neck was injured under one of his heads. Hey. It can help them advance, and of course the reverse is also true. If the little spirit was hit, even if it had the fighting power of a 9-star fighting spirit, it would probably die on the spot. Then, it turned into a fiery red light pillar and shot towards Mo Qing. But he also has extremely fast speed, so that he can quickly get close to those strong men and then deliver a fatal blow. Finally, he closed his eyes completely, and the breath of life quickly disappeared. Lin Feng looked at the terrifying airflow and said with some sigh. At this time, one of his calves was missing, and he lay helplessly on the ground. After flying more than 10 meters, Mo Qing fell heavily to the ground and spit out blood. With the help of broken mountain arm, Mo Qing was still a little dissatisfied. Freeing up a hand, he pinched the green-skinned little nose and said fondly. However, due to Qinglian's previous orders, it had always kept a certain distance from Mo Qing. It looks more like the limbs of a monster. Seeing Xiaoling somewhat frightened movements, Mo Qing laughed strangely. Once again, he released the Xian-level advanced fighting skill, Kaishan Fist. After all, for Warcraft, the body of a strong man is also a good tonic. Kaishan Fist. Moreover, Warcraft's intuition told it, feeling Lin Feng's favor, Qinglian smiled charmingly and immediately laid her face in Lin Feng's arms. At this time, I am afraid that even the 8-star Dou Ling will definitely not dare to look down upon him and will give way to him. Seeing its panicked look, Cheng couldn't help but smile cruelly. The two huge heads suddenly opened their mouths, and the two violent attacks merged skillfully. If I had known earlier, I shouldn't have. After the brown shadow stopped, he suddenly flicked the snake's tail, followed by a muffled sound, and the small sand dune under their feet was cut away by nearly 2 meters by the violent energy. Smiling and touching Qinglian's hair, Lin Feng continued to look at the sand and dust below. Following an invisible wave, Qinglian looked up at Lin Feng and said excitedly, "Let King Horned Viper whip his tail a few more times to make sure Qinglian is dead." He put a qi restoration pill into his mouth again, bit it into pieces, and said vaguely. When Qinglian heard this, he felt it was very reasonable, so he controlled the Horned Viper King and whipped his tail at Qing a few more times with all his strength. Chapter 47. Someone comes from the Heavenly Snake Mansion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After seeing that Qing seemed to be really dead, Lin Feng fell to the ground with Qinglian. He took out his spear and quickly stabbed Qing now. Then, Lin Feng cut off his left arm and put the broken arm into Neji. He had just seen its power. If Qing didn't have this thing, with his 5-star fighting spirit strength, how could he possibly injure a 9-star fighting spirit? Moreover, after all, this is the forelum of a 5th-level monster, and it must be worth a lot of money. Immediately, Lin Feng took off Cheng's ring again. Afterwards, Lin Feng obtained the acceptance rings from 2 other family members and robbed from several other desert horned vipers. This Cheng is indeed the eldest elder of the family. His collection is really rich. Seeing that Qinglian and Lin Feng seemed to have a good relationship, Lu Man was polite. Looking at the shocked Lin Feng below, the 8-winged black snake emperor chuckled, opened his bloody mouth, and said. As she spoke, Xiaonizi ran forward impatiently and put a few Nai rings into Lin Feng's arms. After that, Lin Feng checked the Najis of several other people, but he didn't expect that more than a month ago, he received a soul communication from the palace master, saying that there were fluctuations in the green snake and 3-flowered pupils here. After some exploration, Lin Feng did not put away the 4 Na rings, but handed them to Qinglian and asked. Suddenly, he couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. Lin Feng smiled happily, and then took out a 3rd-grade healing potion. The giant beast is extremely slender and looks somewhat like a snake-shaped monster. Taking the Na ring, I explored the advanced Xian-level skills and fighting skills in the Qing Na ring, but the real fighting spirit transformed into wings. Sky Snake Mansion. There was a faint purple light on it, flickering at the tip of the horn, which was obviously poisonous, and on its head, there is also a dark spiral-shaped horn. The 8-winged black snake emperor, a strange beast with extraordinary talents, the evolution of the 3rd-order Warcraft 2-winged black snake, facing 2 fighting emperors for the first time. Lin Feng swallowed and his adrenaline began to surge. After doing all this, he looked at Xiao Ling who was recovering. Well, the words looked like questions, but the tone was full of commands. There are actually 8 black and purple wings on both sides of the giant snake's body. 8-winged black snake king. When Lin Feng and the 2 men's eyes were fixed on the 8-winged black snake emperor, a woman in green clothes came to the former side at some point. When it reaches the 8 wings, it will be called the 8-winged black snake king. Pulling Lin Feng, he hurriedly ran behind Xiao Ling and King Horn Viper. Lumen also looked at Lin Feng in surprise. She and White Fang had been ordered to search for the blue snake and 3-flower pupils across the continent decades ago, but neither of them had any information. TSK, it wasn't the aura on your body that caused White Fang to expose us. As soon as they arrived, they encountered a fight between Lin Feng and Cheng. Then he opened his mouth wide, swallowed it into his belly, and began to recuperate. It was found that except for the intermediate Xian-level Kung Fu and fighting skills found in Shi's Neji, the others were all low-level Xian-level skills. The flying speed of this magical beast was so fast that people were shocked. And the huge tail was seen twisting and swinging. The whole body is dark, and there are colorful lines painted in the darkness, which looks quite strange. Her pretty little face became extremely solemn, and she shouted, "Come out, I feel you." After doing all this, Lin Feng looked at a relatively tall sand dune in the distance of the desert with puzzled eyes. Qinglian doesn't need these, master, you'd better put them away quickly. Starting from the 3rd level, each time you advance to a level, you will get an extra pair of wings. Qinglian, look inside to see if there's anything you want. Then, a huge shadow flew towards this side, covering a large area of the ground. Lin Feng looked at Lin Feng on the ground and said, "Little guy, can you give us the little girl next to you?" That it was like teleporting. In a few flashes, he was in the sky not far from Lin Feng and Qinglian. However, this illusion can prove that this is not the flying fighting skill. Different from Lin Feng's Xian wings, the cyan wings did not have that physical feeling, but seemed slightly illusory. Looking at White Fang and Lumen above, Lin Feng suddenly became nervous. Faint colorful lines on the head vaguely outlined the shape of a crown, the giant beast. Or should it be called a giant snake more appropriately, the giant snake is extremely large. I can go with you, but you have to do the young master a favor first. These treasures are all he needs now. Hee, boy, I didn't expect you to be quite knowledgeable. You actually know me. The tense nerves made his hands and feet tremble unconsciously. Of course, it's not the kind caused by fear. The triangular pupils are not animalistic, but filled with shrewdness and cunning like humans. Immediately, a giant beast nearly 30 meters tall soared into the sky. Hey, I didn't expect that Mo Cheng still had a few 3rd-grade healing medicine and rejuvenation pills. Fortunately, Shaoling broke his calf before, making him feel unable to escape and thus in fear. Otherwise, when he takes these pills, not easy to deal with. Shaoling watched it for a moment and threw it aside. Looking at the giant snake-shaped monster in front of him, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a little shocked. The moment he saw Qinglian, Baiya relied on his inexplicable fear and immediately determined that the former must be the owner of the green snake and 3-flowered pupils. The fire spirit snake felt the breath of the healing medicine and felt that this little thing was of great help to him. In an instant, he was attracted by the green scales next to him, and he suddenly showed a sense of joy, as well as the 2 4th-grade elixirs. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile. Oh, you little guy actually knows about our heavenly snake mansion. Not long after he finished speaking, a roar suddenly sounded from behind the sand dunes in the distance. With blue wings stretched out behind him, he stood in the air. Hee, I have long said that there are 3 green snake pupils. I must not be able to hide from the detection of the saint. You still don't believe me, Lu Man. The moment it appeared, several snake-shaped monsters on the ground suddenly trembled, lying on the ground tightly, not daring to move. As the giant beast flashed closer, its entire appearance was completely taken into Lin Feng's eyes. Qinglian took a few steps forward, came to Lin Feng, looked at the green man in the sky, and said calmly. Hearing Qinglian's request, Lu Man frowned slightly. She didn't want to waste this time. As far as she is concerned, bringing the saint back as soon as possible is the right thing to do, but he immediately returned to his previous expression and said with a smile, "Little sister, that guy just used you as a maid. Why was he wasting his time? Come back with me now. I guarantee that life will be tens of millions of times better than living with him. Moreover, you don't have to be afraid. As long as we are here, he won't dare to bully you." Chapter 48 Tian Snake Mansion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't allow you to say that, young master. If you don't agree, then I won't go back with you even if I blind myself. After saying that, the little spirit and horned viper king in front of him were under the control of Qinglian. He actually got rid of the bloodline suppression and stood upright in front of Qinglian. At the same time, the fighting energy in Qinglian's body quickly gathered around his eyes under her stimulation. No, holy maiden, don't listen to that damn woman's nonsense. We can talk if you have anything to say, and we can help if you need help. There is no need to make such a fuss. On the side, Baiya was almost frightened when he saw Qinglian's decisiveness, and said hurriedly, "You know, the Bai snake with 3 flower pupils has such a strange physique. On the Dou Qi Continent, it is unlikely that even one will appear in 1,000 years. As for the search for the blue snake with 3 flower pupils, I don't know how many lords and elders of the Tian snake mansion have been killed. They had been looking for it for decades before, and they had just found it now. Before coming, the master of the palace gave a death order and he must be brought back safely. If Qinglian is really determined to destroy his eyes, then the fun will be too big. after all, they can stop it once, but they cannot stop it again and again. If Qinglin's eyes were really destroyed, and they were still the main factors, then, it was not only the lives of it and Green Man that were at risk. In the Palace Master's rage, he and the family behind Green Barbarian might also be affected. They will all disappear without a trace from this Dou Qi continent. The Green Man who said this was also shocked. It was completely unexpected that Qinglian and Lin Feng's relationship would be so good. Meimu couldn't help but look at Lin Feng with hatred, looked at Lin Feng, and said angrily, "Tell me, what's the matter?" Lin Feng was also frightened by Qinglian's actions. Unexpectedly, before he could speak, this little girl would come first. I'm afraid she had thought about it before, otherwise, she wouldn't have hidden behind the two monsters in advance. However, Lin Feng felt a little numb when he felt the gaze directed at him from the Green Man. He took a deep breath and hesitated for a while under Green Man's impatient gaze. "Mada, give it a try and your bicycle will turn into a motorcycle. In this world, you are not strong enough and you are worse than a dog, so why not give it a try?" That he thought to himself, and then said, "I would like to ask 2 seniors to help me get the strange fire." Exotic fire. X2, Baiya and Lu Man were surprised again when they heard the items Lin Feng mentioned. They had also heard of that kind of rare treasure. After being absorbed, that thing can not only enhance combat power, moreover, those alchemists are also searching for strange fire all over the world, and they happen to know a 6th-grade intermediate alchemist, so they wanted to trade with him. Even if the asking price is a 6th-grade elixir, the alchemist will definitely agree. Thinking of those benefits, Lumen couldn't help but stick out his tongue and licked his lips. A 6th-grade elixir, if it was the Emperor's pill that could increase the Douhuang realm by 1 to 2 stars, then, after taking it, their strength will be greatly improved. Green Man and White Fang next to him looked at each other, both feeling a little moved. "If you dare to take advantage of the young master's strange fire, I will never let you go." Qinglian grew up with discrimination and was naturally very sensitive to the changes in their eyes. Seeing their expressions, he stepped forward to threaten them. "Hey, Saintess, how could it be? Our heavenly snake mansion is reasonable." The shrewd and cunning White Fang smiled at Qinglian, then he looked at Lin Feng and said seductively, "Little guy, you are just a little fighting master now, and it is useless to hold the strange fire. How about we exchange it with you for a 5th-grade elixir?" However, the tone was peaceful, but those huge snake eyes were mixed with other meanings. At the same time, it believed in Lin Feng, a little fighting master. It is absolutely impossible to resist the temptation of the 5th-grade elixir. You must know that that thing is also a very precious item for ordinary Douhuang. "I'm sorry, I have no intention of exchanging strange fires." Shaking his head, Lin Feng rejected White Ya's deal. When Baiya saw his refusal, he immediately said angrily, "Why are you doing this? That's a 5th-grade elixir. Little guy, if you don't think about it anymore, in exchange with us, you can also get a 5th-grade elixir. You can keep it in your hands. What if you are murdered and robbed?" Seeing Lin Feng's refusal, Lumen hurriedly stood up and reminded him kindly. However, it was reminding Lin Feng, "It doesn't matter if you, a little fighting master, get it, we can grab it in the following way." Feeling the coercion of the two men, Lin Feng exhaled slightly. White Feng's panicked movements before had already convinced him, as long as Qinglian strongly opposes it, this person and snake will definitely not dare to act rashly. Now, he must not show panic in front of them. He gently raised his head, showed a smile, and said, "This junior is not afraid of someone coming to rob her. However, if Qinglian reaches Tian mansion, her status will not be low. If something happens to me, she will not be in a good mood. Well, it would be bad to take it out on a certain female fighting emperor, a certain 6th-level monster, and their family." Seeing what Lin Feng said, Qinglian also cooperated tactfully and said, "If something happens to the young master, even if it means death, Qinglian will avenge the young master." Good boy. X2. Seeing that Lin Feng was not only not afraid of their threats, but also threatened them in return, he suddenly sneered in anger. In other words, Qinglian had a relationship with him, which made it difficult for them to take action. If other fighting masters dared to threaten them like this, they would have been slapped to pieces, but after hearing Qinglian's words, he couldn't help but resist the urge. If he offends the Holy Maiden, Qinglian wants to torment them when he returns to the Heavenly Snake Mansion, and that's not a matter of a word. Seeing that Lu Man and White Ye did not dare to act rashly, Lin Feng breathed a sigh of relief. Knowing that he was right in his bet, he immediately smiled and said, "Of course, if someone helps me, Qinglian will definitely be very happy. When the time comes, when I become a saint, I believe there will be indispensable benefits." The snake's eyes turned slightly, and the cunning White Fang quickly woke up from his greed and analyzed the pros and cons. If it grabs the strange fire now, it may get a 6th grade elixir at the cost of offending the Saint Qinglian. If they wait until they bring Qinglian back to the Heavenly Snake Mansion, Qinglian, the saint, will hate them, then their life will not be easy in the future. Even, it may not be possible, then kill Lin Feng and Qinglian after grabbing the strange fire and return empty-handed. No, it won't work. I won't be able to get through to the palace master. Besides, for the huge credit of bringing back Qinglian, they might as well get a 6th grade elixir from the house. Furthermore, if Qinglian is really grateful to them, then they have the saint girl as their backing in Tian Mansion. In this case, the status of them and the family behind them will be greatly improved quickly. But now I feel a little reluctant to give up the strange fire. Chapter 49 Entering Magma. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 49 Entering the Magma. Seeing that they were still hesitating, Lin Feng took a step forward, cupped his hands and said, "As long as the 2 seniors are willing to help me, from now on, the juniors will definitely offer 3 sect-breaking pills and gain my friendship. 3 Pazong pills for each person." "Little guy, do you know the value of the Pazong pill?" Green Man glanced at Lin Feng, sneered, and said, from the bottom of her heart, she didn't believe that Lin Feng could get 3 sect-breaking pills. After all, although the Pazong pill is only at the peak of the 6th grade, its actual value has surpassed many low-level pills of the 7th grade. It's true that I can't produce it now, but this junior believes that within 10 years, I will be able to refine it. As he spoke, a strong soul perception came out of his body, and invisible fluctuations quickly surged around. "Hey, this guy's soul perception is so powerful, it's on par with the 4th grade peak alchemists I've seen in the house." Feeling the soul fluctuation coming from Lin Feng, Bai Ye's expression suddenly changed and he said in surprise, "Are you an alchemist?" Seeing that soul fluctuation, Green Man frowned slightly and asked immediately. Lin Feng nodded and replied, "Yes, although I am only a 3rd grade alchemist now, I believe that I will be a 4th grade alchemist before long." Hearing this, everyone and the snake were shocked again. Lin Feng is only 16 or 17 years old, but he is already a 3rd level alchemist, and he is sure to be promoted to the 4th level in the near future. In this case, it is really possible for Lin Feng to refine the Pazong pill 10 years later. It is even possible that in 10 years, he can be promoted to the 7th level. 10 years is not a long time for these fighting emperors. Especially White Fang, he was a monster, and in 10 years he could only sleep a few more times. If he agrees to Lin Feng now, he will not only get 3 sect-breaking pills later, moreover, there is also the friendship of a 6th grade or even 7th grade alchemist. That value. Thinking of this, White Fang's cunning vertical pupils turned and he immediately made a choice. It suddenly flapped its 4 pairs of wings and said with a smile, "Hey, little guy, you have already said this, how can we not help? Where is the strange fire? We will help you get it." Green Man, who was already excited when he saw his companion agreeing, didn't think twice about it. He nodded and agreed. Lin Feng suddenly smiled when he heard that 1 person and 1 snake agreed. A burst of excitement immediately surged in his heart, and he knew that he had made the right bet this time. Seeing that the matter was resolved perfectly, Qinglian breathed a sigh of relief. "It's very close to here. It only takes less than 10 minutes to fly. Please come with me, both of you." After saying that, Lin Feng picked up Qinglian and flew towards the strange fire. Whoosh! Following a faint sound, 3 flying figures landed steadily on a sand dune. "The strange fire is down here. Senior White Fang is too big. Senior Green Barbarian should go down with me to get it." Lin Feng opened the cover he had made before, took out the 2 guarding desert horned vipers inside, and said immediately, "Underground? It's a shame you found it. Looking at this dark passage, Lu Man couldn't help but sigh. If no one tells her about this place, even if she is beaten to death, she may not be able to find it. He turned around and looked at White Fang's huge body, and immediately said, "White Fang, you and the saint are waiting up there, this boy and I will go down and get it." Hearing this, Lin Feng hurriedly said, "I'm afraid not, only the two-headed fire spirit snake knows the path, Qinglian will probably have to go down together." "Okay then, the three of us will go down, and White Fang will keep watch from above." Lu Man looked at Qinglian and Lin Feng's arms, thought for a moment, and then nodded in agreement. After all, she was a fighting emperor and was just ensuring the safety of the two of them, so there was no problem. "No problem, leave the security above to me." After saying that, the Snake King flapped his wings and went to hide behind a sand dune in the distance. Green Man, on the other hand, directly gathered fighting energy in his palms and suddenly looked into the passage below. With a slight sound, the passage was directly widened by the powerful fighting spirit to a size large enough for them to walk down without bending down. "Is this Dou Huang?" Seeing this scene, Lin Feng smacked his lips. "Let's go, kid." After the Green Man finished speaking, he rushed straight to the passage below. Lin Feng saw this and hurriedly followed him. "Since the cave is much wider this time, I can use my fighting spirit to rush forward." In less than 10 minutes, several people arrived at the underground cave. Looking at the vast magma in front of him, Green Man frowned slightly. There is almost no wood attribute fighting spirit in the air here. This made the green barbarian with the wood attribute feel extremely unhappy. Now, she just wants to find the strange fire as soon as possible and go back as soon as she gets it. "Where is the strange fire?" Green Man turned his head and asked. "In the magma below." Lin Feng put down Qinglian and replied. Hearing this, Lu Man frowned again. "Inside the magma, the shallow part is fine. If she goes too deep, even if she is a strong fighter, she must be treated with caution. What's more, the wood attribute fighting energy in this underground cave is surprisingly scarce. For her, it was another big trouble. It wouldn't be fun if the alien fire rioted inside." Green Man turned to Lin Feng and said with a somewhat serious expression, "I'm afraid I can't help you get this thing. In the magma, even if I were the Dou Huang, I might not be able to suppress the rioting strange fire." When Lin Feng heard this, he knew what she was worried about. He chuckled and said, "Senior, don't worry. I have a way to control the strange fire. I just need you to hold on for a while and let me get it." "Oh, I didn't expect you to have a way to control the different fires." "If that's the case, then let's go." Seeing what he said, Lu Man no longer hesitated and said calmly. After all, Lin Feng also wanted to go down together. She didn't believe that Lin Feng would make fun of her own life. Lin Feng nodded, looked at Qinglian and said, "Send the little spirit out to lead the way." "Okay, master." A burst of green light flashed across Qinglian's eyes, and then the little spirit was released. Looking at the familiar magma pool, Xiaoling howled excitedly. It quickly got inside and started swimming. With the help of the magma, its injuries began to slowly recover. Qinglian felt Xiaoling's excitement and smiled, and then ordered, "Xiaoling, take the young master to find the blue flame." Hiss. Upon hearing Qinglian's instructions, Xiaoling roared and then dived deep into the magma. "Let's go." As Lu Man's voice fell, a green Dou Qi shield with a diameter of several meters wrapped Lin Feng in. Then, the Green Man quickly jumped into the magma and disappeared. "Qinglian, wait for me here." After speaking, Lin Feng gritted his teeth and jumped into the magma under Qinglian's worried eyes. Pfft. As the body is projected downwards, flaming red magma splashes out. Seeing the fiery red magma blocked by the green shield, Lin Feng's heart dropped. Immediately spread out the purple cloud wings, dive into the magma, and run straight down. Chapter 50 Qinglian Earth Core Fire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The magma was a fiery red. However, with the help of the Dou Qi protective shield, Lin Feng could barely see some of his surroundings. His eyes glanced around, and then he swam around quickly. He hurriedly swooped towards the fire spirit snake in front of him that was slowly drilling into the depths of the magma, waiting for him. Arriving next to Lu Man, Lin Feng had time to observe the surrounding environment. Looking at this fiery underground magma world, different from the calmness on the surface of the magma, there is an undercurrent surging inside. Occasionally, an extremely ferocious undercurrent of magma surges out from some unknown place. Whenever this happens, Lin Feng is always frightened. You must know that these undercurrents contain extremely huge energy. If he is hit, even a great fighter will end up seriously injured. Fortunately, the fire spirit snake is extremely familiar with this place. Before the undercurrent comes, you can always find the most suitable route and sneak around. Lumen and Lin Feng, who were following closely behind it, also took the opportunity to successfully avoid these magma undercurrents. As he continued to sneak towards the bottom of the seemingly endless magma, even though Lin Feng had a protective shield, he could vaguely feel it. The temperature outside is almost doubling. The two men and the beast had been diving for unknown lengths of time. At this time, Lin Feng had discovered that the surrounding magma had changed from fiery red to cyan, and the temperature inside has increased dramatically. Green Man also knew this and couldn't help but frown slightly. After coming into the blue magma, her consumption of fighting energy to maintain the protective shield suddenly increased a lot. Here, her fighting spirit replenishment is extremely rare. It can hardly absorb any wood attribute fighting spirit. After diving again for a while, Lin Feng and Lu Man suddenly discovered it. Not far below, there was an extremely conspicuous green light curtain, attracting their attention. Looking at the light source, Lin Feng wiped his sweat and said with a smile, "It looks like we're almost there." "Oh, it's almost there." Hearing Lin Feng's voice, Lu Man also looked at the light curtain curiously. Although she is a strong fighter, this is the first time she has seen strange fire. Soon, cyan light enveloped the magma. Arriving not far from the light curtain, the two of them looked intently and saw something faintly. In the cyan light, I could see vaguely. There is a green lotus flower, standing gracefully. What kind of strange fire is this? Looking at the looming blue lotus, Lumen turned to look at Lin Feng and asked curiously. Although she knew that there were 23 types of strange fires, she did not know their specific information. Hearing this, Lin Feng explained, "Look at the green lotus, it is the inner fire of the green lotus. This fire ranks 19th in the list of strange fires. It was born deep in the earth and has been tempered countless times by the fire of the earth. Fusion, compression, carving. It takes 10 years to become a spirit, 100 years to take shape, and 1,000 years to form a lotus. When it is completed, its color will be green, and a cluster of green fire will appear in the heart of the lotus. It is called Qinglian fire, also known as Qinglian earth heart fire. Is it the fifth to last strange fire? No wonder I sensed it. It seems to only have the strength of a junior Dou Huang." Looking down, thinking of the strength of his 6-star fighting emperor, he curled his lips and said. Hearing the contempt in Green Barbarian's words, Lin Feng knew that Green Barbarian didn't know much about strange fire. He hurriedly reminded, "Senior, please don't be careless. In this environment, Qinglian earth core fire's energy source is constantly absorbing the energy of the magma. In addition, the strange fire itself is extremely violent. I'm afraid even the Douhuang Peak may not be possible. Can defeat it." "What?" Hearing this, Lumen's expression also became solemn. She also didn't expect that the flames in the magma could actually fight against the strongest warriors at the peak of Dou Huang. "Let's go." Lin Feng looked at the green man beside him and said. "Ah." Nodding slightly, Green Man became much more cautious this time. After increasing the protective shield, he slowly entered the light curtain. Lin Feng followed closely and entered. The body entered the cyan light, and the expected blazing heat did not come as expected. Instead, the temperature of the whole body strangely dropped a lot. Regarding this somewhat supernatural scene, Lin Feng was stunned for a moment because he didn't know the details in the original work. After a moment, he came back to his senses and quickly glanced around. Finally, it stopped on the blue lotus in the center. The blue lotus flower is divided into 8 leaves. The 8 green leaves are as perfect as the most perfect sapphire. At first glance, it's crystal clear, making people feel like they can't put it down. Among the lotus flowers, there seems to be a small lotus platform about 2 or 3 feet tall. Some holes on the lotus platform emit little bits of fluorescent light, which must be lotus seeds condensed from the purest fire attribute energy. Underneath the green lotus, there is an extremely slender rhizome, more than 10 meters long. On the rhizome, there are densely distributed tiny tentacles, when these tentacles swayed, Lin Feng and the two could clearly feel them. They are in an almost greedy state, frantically absorbing the violent fire energy in the surrounding magma, and this blue lotus flower is suspended in the endless magma, like duckweeds in the sea, floating around. If it weren't for the fire spirit snake leading the way this time, it would have been impossible for Lin Feng to be in such a huge area with his current strength, find such a blue lotus that is relatively small. Be careful and don't get caught by those tentacles, otherwise the fighting energy in your body will be sucked out in the blink of an eye. Looking at those green roots, Green Man said solemnly. Thanks for the reminder, Senior, let's go get it now. Lin Feng cupped his hands, looked at the blue lotus, and said impatiently. Let's go then. The Green Man nodded, and immediately his green wings shook and flew forward. Lin Feng saw this and hurriedly followed. As he got closer to the blue lotus, Lin Feng could feel its beauty more and more. This kind of near-perfect thing can only be created through the tempering of time and nature. Carefully avoiding the swing of the root tentacles, Lin Feng followed Lumen and slowly came to the top of Qinglian. Scanning the lotus with excited eyes, he discovered that there was a fist-sized hole. In the center of the small lotus platform among the lotus flowers, a ball of blue flame was rising slowly in it. This blue flame is extremely spiritual and is tumbling slightly. Sometimes it condenses into the shape of a lotus, and sometimes it condenses into a small green flame snake, floating and hovering in the lotus seat. The docile appearance is extremely cute. What to do now? Green Man was also attracted by the appearance of the flame for a moment, then came back to his senses and asked. Chapter 51 Queen Medusa. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Senior, wait a minute while I approach to get it, and you must maintain the protective shield to resist the attack of the strange fire and protect me from the Qinglian earth core fire during this period. Upon hearing the inquiry, Lin Feng turned around and said. Can. After saying that, Green Barbarian also quickly increased the infusion of fighting spirit to enhance the protective energy of Lin Feng's protective shield. Lin Feng also hurriedly took out a jade knife made of high-grade rouge jade and took another chi-reviving pill. Then he flapped his purple wings and shot towards the center of the Qinglian earth at the fastest speed. At first, Lin Feng didn't encounter any obstruction, but when he got close to the blue lotus, the seemingly docile flame in the center of the lotus platform suddenly became violent. The overwhelming green flames formed a fire curtain and rushed towards Lin Feng rapidly. This situation almost made Lin Feng's heart skip a beat. There was silence in the cave for a moment, and Lin Feng asked, Senior Green Man, how much fighting spirit do you have left? Okay, Senior, you can hold Qinglian. It's safer this way. However, just as he relaxed, Qinglian remembered the aura above. As the charming voice fell, that alluring body disappeared from the place I don't know when. X2. After an unknown amount of time, with two slight sounds, Lin Feng and Lu Man burst out of the magma. After a moment of silence, Lin Feng then said, if my guess is correct, that person should be Queen Medusa. The sand and rocks on the top of the cave also fell in large tracts. Lin Feng thought that his bloodline was similar to Qinglian's, and his aura was powerful. Seeing this situation, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel distressed. I didn't expect that using a strange fire would attract her. Immediately afterwards, he casually took out a Na ring from his arms. Looking at Qinglian suspended in the magma, Lin Feng grabbed it and immediately turned around and swam towards Green Man. Could this fiery and violent aura be a strange fire? After confirming that Lin Feng was not injured, he breathed a sigh of relief and lowered his lifted heart again. Seeing Lin Feng come back, Qinglian immediately asked, and the originally violent earth core fire became docile again. Then, the Green Man thought of White Fang's fighting prowess and said with a smile, it's okay, as long as White Fang is here. There are not many people around here who can fight with him. Sudden. A pair of beautiful eyes stared somewhere, and this direction was exactly where Qinglian's inner fire was. Feeling the violent vibration coming from above, Green Man was a little worried about White Fang's safety and said hurriedly. What? That person must be stronger. At this moment, the cave suddenly began to shake violently. Xiao Ling, let's go. Seeing Lin Feng take out 2 4th-grade elixirs without hesitation, Lu Man's favorability towards him immediately increased a lot. Seeing Lu Man leaving, Lin Feng called out, and immediately floated upwards, deep in the Tagore desert. It is precisely because of this violent power that people cannot copy it, so these flames are called strange fires. Thinking of the previous agreement, Green Man stopped thinking about the strange fire and turned around to float upward, then transfer all the items inside to another Na-ring. Lin Feng replied casually, looking at the 11 lotus seeds next to the lotus platform. A glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. Master, have you got the strange fire? Hearing Qinglian's answer, Lin Feng's heart suddenly sank. I didn't expect that after searching for so many years, it would actually be in the Tagore Desert where my snake people live. If White Fan died, she wouldn't be able to deal with Queen Medusa at the peak of her fight. As for Lumen, his expression became serious at this moment, his little face became anxious, and he said in a panic, "Young master is not good. Not long ago, I sensed a very strong momentum coming from above the ground, and the blood of that person seemed to be related to. I have some similarities. Could I be here to grab the strange fire?" While speaking, he hurried forward and circled around Lin Feng. The woman's perfect face suddenly glowed with joy. "You guys are really willing to keep it for yourself." As the green lotus fell, the violet fire curtain suddenly fell back into the lotus platform. "Hurry up, this level of confrontation, even if I am the Dou Huang, consumes a lot of fighting energy. I didn't expect that such a powerful alien fire could be controlled tightly by a lotus platform." With a movement of his hand, he took out the 2 4th-grade Qi restoration pills from the Mo Qinglian. "Is this the strange fire? It is indeed born from heaven and earth. It is much more violent than any beast fire I have seen before." After a pause, they landed on the land next to the passage. However, she did not pick it up. Instead, she took out a 5th-grade elixir from her Neji, with a flash of distress in her eyes, and then drank it. Lin Feng smiled bitterly and explained. "It looks like there's a fight going on above, let's go up quickly." "Come on, let's go up." In response, Lin Feng hurriedly rushed towards the blue lotus at full speed again. Soon, Lin Feng successfully arrived at the side of the blue lotus. The green man frowned slightly and said, "Less than 30%. In a spacious and luxurious hall, a beautiful figure leaned slightly against the back of a chair. Suddenly, the green lotus, which was as perfect as a work of art, fell off. Use a jade knife to lightly scratch the part where the lotus flower connects to the rhizome, then the terrifying temperature of the Qinglian earth core fire will burn all the items inside." Seeing Lin Feng's actions, Lu Man urged while increasing his fighting energy output. Then the strange fire was put into the Kongna ring. After all, if the strange fire was put directly into it, but no harm was done. Lu Man also nodded in agreement. Apparently, she also guessed the identity of the visitor. Looking at the heart-centered fire beating in Qinglian Terrace, Lu Man looked a little surprised. Hearing Qinglin's words, Lin Feng and Lu Man were both shocked. Boom! If these conditions are met, would it be? Looking at Qinglin, Lin Feng continued to ask, "Compared with Senior Baiya, which one is stronger?" He handed it to the green man and said, "Senior, please take it quickly. Although these 2 pills can't restore much fighting spirit, they can at least start to have an effect. It is good." Fortunately, after the green fire curtain hit the protective shield, Lin Feng felt that the surrounding temperature suddenly soared. What's more, she doesn't have enough fighting spirit now. Immediately he looked at Lin Feng aside and said, "Boy, you didn't tell me before that there is a big problem like Medusa." With that said, Lin Feng quickly took back the elixir, touched Qinglin's little head, and motioned for her to come over. Seeing this, Lu Man was also worried that something might happen to Qinglin. After all, Lin Feng's strength was too low to guarantee her safety. He picked up the approaching Qinglin, then turned into an afterimage and shot towards the passage above. Lin Feng also used his fighting spirit, jumped into the passage, and ran towards the ground. Chapter 52 Crisis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as Lin Feng came out of the passage, he saw a huge body slamming into a sand dune not far away. With a loud noise, the sand dune was directly knocked to the ground, and the huge force seemed to have not dissipated yet, continuing to push White Fang's snake body away. After that, it smashed 4 or 5 sand dunes one after another, and drew a long gully in the sand before gradually stopping. Its huge body was also obscured by the thick sand and dust. You dead snake came to our snake tribe to cause trouble before, and I haven't settled the score with you yet. This time, you actually dare to come to our Tagore desert. The afterglow of the setting sun fell down, and a graceful curved body stood in the air. A pair of beautiful eyes looked disdainfully at the white teeth covered by dust and mist. Then, Qianling slightly raised her jade arm to wipe away the trace of red that quietly flowed out from her red lips. Damn it! I'm just going to get a strange fire, what's the point? His eyes swept over the almost perfect body, and finally stopped at that beautiful face. Why do many people near the desert say that Queen Medusa's reputation is comparable to her evil reputation? This charming temperament can easily make men feel conquered. Huh, little mouse, want to run away? That it was impossible to defeat the 8-star fighting Emperor White Fang so easily. As long as he comes forward to shock her and let her see that there is no advantage to be taken, she will naturally retreat. However, when it saw Medusa, it didn't pay too much attention. His whole body was covered with large and small scars, and blood was constantly flowing. I originally thought that Medusa was just like before, wanting to use the strange fire to trade for something. Looking at the white teeth that popped out in vain, he frowned. Well, Senior, don't worry. When the time comes, if you want to refine some elixir, just come to me directly. As long as this junior can refine it, I will refine it for you. At the same time, Lumen couldn't figure it out. Lin Feng was also relieved when he saw that he was rescued. Seeing Lin Feng's attitude, Bai Ye's anger dissipated a lot. Hearing this, White Ye also looked at Lin Feng. After all, he was responsible for this matter. When Qinglian above saw Lin Feng being rescued, she immediately wiped away cold sweat and caressed her violently beating heart. Seeing White Ye taking Lin Feng to the sky, Green Man immediately came over to Long and asked Lin Feng, otherwise, even if Medusa is the peak fighting emperor, the attributes of the snake people tend to be cold and cold, so it would be useless for her to ask for strange fire. Then with a swish sound, he rushed towards Lin Feng's position. Seeing the white Feng that was knocked away, Green Man frowned and cursed secretly in his heart. Apparently, the reality was not as easy as she said. Looking at the green barbarian who was holding Qinglian and watching her warily, Medusa frowned slightly and sneered, but he didn't expect that he would provoke Medusa. Standing up from the sand pit, a pair of cyan wings moved slightly behind his back, and came to Medusa's side. Lin Feng, on the other hand, was also looking upward at this time. Master, after all, it had gone to the snake tribe and fought with Medusa many times before. Taking advantage of the dust cloud caused by White Fang knocking over the sand dune, he hurriedly rushed towards the direction of the Gamma Empire. Seeing White Fang become so miserable, Lin Feng was also afraid that it would escape, so he hurriedly drew a pie path. However, I didn't expect that there is actually a Dou Huang. Do you know how to find help this time? Sensing Lin Feng's movements, Medusa raised her red lips and smiled authentically. At the same time, his tail flicked violently, sending the cyan figure flying into the sand in the distance. Seeing that no one noticed him, Lin Feng lowered himself to the ground as much as possible to reduce his presence. Humph, that's pretty much it. I don't know why Medusa is so crazy. Could it be that she can still absorb strange fire? What should we do now? A head of 3,000 green hair draped down casually from the shoulders, vertically between the slender willow waist. Just when the cyan figure was about to come into contact with Lin Feng, a black shadow quickly swept him away. It's okay. Although that dead snake was seriously injured by me, it's not something you, a fighting king, can fight against. Originally, it thought that obtaining strange fire was just a simple matter. Under the brocade robe, a purple snake tail was exposed. As a result, it turned into what it looks like now due to carelessness. At this time, White Fang was also very angry. Suddenly, his heart trembled violently. After seeing this woman with his own eyes, Lin Feng finally understood. The delicate body under the brocade robe is plump and exquisite, like a ripe peach, exuding a touch of charm. Unexpectedly, after Medusa got close, she suddenly killed her. During the slight swing, there is a wild and enchanting temptation, which makes people feel a little hot all over for no reason. Looking at White Fang under him, half of its original 4 pairs of wings had disappeared. Judging from this situation, the lustful snake must have lost its soul after seeing Medusa. Well, how about I use Zayunyi to take Qinglian and run away, and the 2 seniors hold the 2 on the other side for a while. After all, not only would the strange fire be gone, but Qinglian would be offended, and Lin Feng, the future high-level alchemist, would be lost. The woman in green clothes only felt a sweetness in her throat, and then a mouthful of blood spurted out. Take it out for trading? There is no need to fight with these two powerful warriors. He bent down and apologized. Queen, Hua Snaker failed to bring back the strange fire. However, after these days of experience, Lin Feng's mind has also been greatly improved, and he quickly recovered. It seems that the only word to describe this kind of woman is coquettish. Seeing that Lin Feng was in danger, Qinglian screamed, "I saw that beautiful figure, wearing a graceful purple brocade robe." After Medusa finished speaking, a cyan figure suddenly appeared from the side. Now that it has paid so much, it doesn't want to abandon Lin Feng and run away in despair until the last moment. Shu. As long as he runs out and the two fighting emperors, Green Barbarian and White Fanged, escape from Medusa, there will definitely be no problem. Hearing Medusa's seductive voice, Lin Feng knew that he had been discovered and panicked for a moment. Boy, I got hurt badly this time. I need to pay more. However, underneath that glamour, there was a hint of queen-like nobility and grace, Lin Feng said while looking at Medusa and Flower Snake opposite. What kind of crooked idea did you come up with? Opposite us are a peak fighting emperor and a 7-star fighting king. Although Medusa was also hit by a few of my attacks, the two of us are in worse condition now. At most we can only if we can hold down a Medusa together. Can you outrun that fighting king? After hearing what White Ye said, Lin Feng glanced at the snake man in green and shook his head helplessly. Then, thinking that Medusa was also injured by White Fang, he touched the ring containing the strange fire, and immediately said, I have an idea, but I need the two seniors to cooperate with me.